Welcome, everyone. My name is Adrian Leffler. I'm one of the partners here with My Social Practice, and this webinar is going to be about social media and how to use social media within a dental practice and use it effectively so that you can build your practice, find new patients, and brand yourself within the community. There are a few different questions that I want to answer as we go through the webinar this evening. First of all, what is social media marketing? How is it done in a dental practice? And why should your office use social media? And then at the end of this, I'll take some questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the question box there, and at the end, I'll read through them and answer them. So what is social media marketing? Well, social media marketing is basically word-of-mouth marketing online. So whatever you would do internally in your office to connect with your current patients and create better relationships with them so that you could have higher case acceptance, and whatever you would do to hopefully encourage them to talk to their friends and their family about your office to encourage referrals, that's what social media marketing is. So it's basically an internal marketing system that you are kind of superimposing onto the internet and using through social media, social sites. And the reason that we describe it that way is because social media is really a relationship-based marketing system. So as we go through this, you'll kind of see how that works and what we mean by that. A good question to start off, another way to identify what social media is what are the fundamental differences between traditional marketing and social media marketing? Well, traditional marketing uses a push tactic. Direct mail, billboards, television commercials, radio advertising, those are marketing methods that push a message out into the community. If you're driving down the road and you see a billboard for a dental offer for a local dental office, that message is designed to interrupt your attention. Well, social media is a pull tactic. It's based on behavior to engage when and how people want to engage. So we're not pushing out our message as much as we are creating a top-of-mind awareness, and when people are interested in your specialty, in your service, and when it comes up in a conversation, the idea is that we are there as a top-of-mind awareness, and we're there within the conversation simply because we engage in a better way with the community. So I'm gonna kind of go back and give a little bit more description also about what social media is by describing the difference between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. You might have heard this concept or this idea, possibly, maybe not. But when the web first kind of came on and showed up, right, back in the 80s and 90s, we would consider that at this point, we would consider that what we call Web 1.0. Now we're working in the web we consider to be a Web 2.0, and so the question is, what's the difference? So I'm going to kind of describe that here, and this gets into social media. At some point in the history of your office, you probably had a photographer come in and shoot some pictures and have some copy written, and you created a brochure. And you could take that same copy and content and basically use it to create other types of traditional marketing, direct mail pieces, billboards. You could use it to build a website. And this is what we would call, when it evolves into the website form, what we call Web 1.0. Web 1.0 has to do with a static message. A static message being, when you build a website, you're basically taking a moment in time. You're taking some pictures, you're taking some copy, and you're creating this moment in time, this kind of this perfect vision of what your business is, what your practice stands for. And then you build a website based on that vision, and you put it on the internet, and you really don't touch it. It's fairly static, and it just stays there. Well, in the early 2000s, 2003, 2004, the web, the architecture of how websites were built changed. And companies like Facebook and MySpace and LinkedIn, Twitter, blogs, all these different types of socially interactive websites started to show up. And the reason that they started to show up is they're built on a slightly different platform. They're built on a platform where the websites can speak to each other. They can merge data. So what I'm showing you here As an example of this, on the left you've got a static website, and on the right you have a blog. Blogs are built on a more flexible merging technology. The biggest difference between a website and a blog is based on a subscription model. The purpose of a blog is to build subscribers. So if you notice, up in the top right-hand corner of this blog, this picture here, you'll see that there is a subscription section where you can enter your email. So what happens is, if I were to go to this guy's Hornbrook Center for Dentistry's blog, and plug in my email address into that subscription form there, well, what happened is every time he posts a blog, I would get an email basically announcing that the new blog post has been uploaded to their blog. So I am opting in to receive marketing messages, whatever, or messages, general messages, whatever message they want to put out, by entering my email address. And that's the purpose of a blog. The purpose of a blog is to communicate. Websites don't do that. Websites, you build it, you stick it up on the internet, and it's static and it stays there and you don't touch it. Blogs, on the other hand, are designed to communicate. So that's one way that a blog communicates, and here are a few others. Right here, you've got down the bottom left-hand or middle left-hand section, you've got links to a bunch of different social connections. You've got Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and Pinterest, which are all different social sites. And what these are is these are ways that you can share this particular page or this blog with your friends. So if you use Facebook a lot, you could like this particular blog through the like button right there. You just click it, and then your friends would know that you like this, and so forth with the other social functions. Down here at the bottom of the blog, the way that blogs are typically built and should be built is there's a comment section at the end of the blog, so that when your patient reads the blog, they could potentially leave a comment or ask a question. Up here on the top right, next to the main cover image, there's what we call a Facebook widget. This is actually a little window into Hornbrook's Center for Dentistry Facebook page. So you're looking at the last post that they made on their Facebook page right there. And if you were to click on that, you would land on their Facebook page. You'd go right through to their Facebook page. So the blog is communicating with other social sites, integrated. Here's a current promotion that they're running, and this promotion basically is enter to win type of a promotion. If later on in the presentation, I'll show you how promotions are programmed in an effective way to engage. But basically, they're giving away an iPad, and if I were to click on that, it would take me to a page where I could enter to win, and they would capture all of my data, and then I could share that promotion with all of my friends on Facebook. So it's connected to a call to action here, the blog is. Here's a request an appointment form, links to other social sites, and then down in the bottom right, you can't see it very well because it's kind of cut off, but that's a Twitter feed. So you're looking at their last Twitter post. So you can see a blog, there's many, many calls to action. There are calls to action which could be entering a promotion, subscribing, sharing, communicating, commenting, whereas a static website is designed just to give some information, and hopefully the patient will call in. There's no reason that a static website is bad in any way. Everybody should have some kind of a website, but this is just highlighted to show you the differences between what is Web 1.0, static, and what is Web 2.0, which is dynamic. Here are some other examples. Facebook, this is a Facebook page for Jamaica Cosmetic Dental Services. They're one of our clients. Facebook is designed and set up. I'm going to be a little bit elementary here. Some of you probably know this, others may not, but I'm going to describe it to make sure that we're all on the same page. But this is how Facebook works. Facebook, everybody that's participating in Facebook needs to have a personal account. So when you go to Facebook, you set up a personal account. After you set up a personal account, you can set up as many business accounts as you want. Okay? But without the personal account, you can't participate. So if I were to set up my account and then I wanted to connect with a friend, say John or whoever, maybe somebody from college, I would send John a friend request. There's a process where you can just send a little message to John in his Facebook account that says, hey, do you want to connect? Do you want to be my friend? And if he accepts that, or vice versa. If he sends me one and I accept it, what happens is it merges, Facebook will merge his personal account with my personal account. So whenever he types something into his account, I see what he typed in my account in what's called my news feed. And if I type something into my account, he will see what I typed in his news feed. So basically, it's a dynamic system where the sites are sharing information with each other. Okay. Well, in Facebook, when you set up a business page for your dental office, it works basically the same way, except you're not sending a friend request. You have the like button instead. So you've probably seen everybody advertising, like us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. Well, the reason that they want you to like them or like their business page is because it performs the same function as if I were to send a friend request to my buddy. When you click this like button right here, it merges Jamaica Cosmetic Dental Services with your personal account. So every time she or her staff or whoever's managing it posts something on our Facebook page, you see it in your personal account, in your news feed. So you can see why people want to get a lot of likes, because it's basically like creating this giant email list of people who are willing participants. They're willing to hear what you have to say. So it's important in Facebook to build a solid following of likes. She's got over 4,000 people following her, which is really, really good. So every time she posts something, 4,000 people potentially see what she posted. So you can see how powerful that becomes. Whenever she has an offer or an event that she's participating in, there's a massive amount of people that are connected. So here's Twitter, and I'm going to show you a few examples of different social sites, because they're all basically the exact same model. So Twitter has a follow button. If you click the follow button, you're connected with Madeline Zapantis' Twitter account, and you guys will end up seeing each other's information. Pinterest, there's a follow button. Same thing here. Pinterest is basically a pin-up or a pin board social media system where you're just pinning photos. You're sharing photos with people. YouTube, there is a subscribe button. Same thing. You subscribe to a channel, somebody's channel. Every time they post a video, you get an email that they've just posted a new video. So it's all basically the same thing. Okay, that's how all social sites are designed. So that's kind of a good description. Hopefully that makes sense about how social media kind of communicates with each other and the difference between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. So let's move on to the second question, which is, how is social media done in a dental practice? Well, we see this as a three-legged chair. Okay, there are three main functions or parts that you need in order to make sure that you can do this properly. You need the right tools. You need the right tools. We'll talk about this, and then we'll come back and talk about the right person and the right mindset, strategies, and ideas. So this screenshot is a screenshot of some of the social media tools that are out there today, or social media sites that are out there today. I mean, they've just blown up, obviously. There are so many different kinds of socially built tools that you could use. I mean, you get obviously confused as to where you should start. And this is a few of them. There's been thousands that have popped up in the last few years. So where do you start? That's the question. I mean, you're not obviously going to go out and build accounts on every single one of these. So you need kind of a core group of social sites that you should use, with social tools that you should use. And here's what we recommend. First of all, you want to use a blog. You definitely want to use Facebook. There's almost we just hit 1 billion users on Facebook. Twitter is very effective. YouTube is definitely effective. Email is not necessarily a social site, but it can be integrated with a system. And so I put it on here to talk about that. Then there's Google+, which popped up last year, and Pinterest. And we believe that those are definitely great sites to begin using at this point. The question is, how do you use them? So we see this as a hub and spoke type of a process. Inside, in the center of the social media campaign, you have a hub, which is the blog. And the blog is the transaction or the conversion point, because that's where you're going to put information initially. Then what the blog can do, blogs are so flexible. You can program them to distribute information to wherever you would like. So on the outside, you've got all your social media tools, and you just simply program the blog to distribute the information to Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, your newsletter, Google+, and YouTube. So if I have let's say that I'm at a dental practice and we have an event and we shoot some video and then write a little blog article about it. We post it to the blog, and automatically it's on Twitter. There's a link on Twitter. There is a post on Facebook. If there was a photo, we could load that photo to Pinterest. A blog post will automatically get loaded up and input into the newsletter that goes out. It can get posted to Google+, and the video that we shot can be uploaded to your YouTube channel. So you see that that's the transaction point. Now what happens is if there's ever a time when Facebook goes away or Pinterest goes away and something else shows up, your whole social media system isn't crumble and fall apart because you're controlling it from something that you have total control of, which is the other kind of important point of why you have the blog as the centerpiece. You control and own your blog. You pay hosting on it. You buy a new domain name like www.abcdentalblog.com, and no one can take it away. Whereas if you build your entire social media system in Facebook and Facebook makes a change, you don't have any control over that. About 3, maybe 4 months ago, Facebook moved to what's called the timeline, and it totally wiped out marketing models for the way that marketing had been previously done on Facebook, because there was other ways that you could actually advertise. You had the ability to create landing pages in Facebook. Well, they're gone now, and so you don't want to build an entire system on something that you don't have total control over. So that's why the blog is important. The other reason the blog is important is because your email list is so important, and your blog and your email newsletter work really, really well together. So as I go through and I show you some examples later on, just remember that visually this is how we're looking at it. The transaction point is the blog. It's something you have complete control over, and then whatever happens on the outer skirts of this and the spokes, in terms of what tools show up or go away, we still have control and we can manage the campaign. All right, so let's move on to the next leg on the stool, which is who's the right person, or in some cases, people. So do you need an in-office social media guru? Our answer is absolutely not. This is what you need. You need somebody with a great attitude, and the reason you need somebody with a great attitude is because people are using social media almost more than they're using their telephone in some cases. So the person that you have answer your telephone in your office, I'm sure that you probably want somebody that is upbeat, excited, energetic, and competent answering the phone. Well, that's the same type of person that you want managing your social media because they're communicating directly with your patients. So 2, you need someone who loves your patients. 3, someone who can focus on social media between a half an hour to an hour a week, and then somebody who works in your practice. So why would we say somebody who works in your practice? Well, the reason that we say that is because you should not hire my social practice or anybody else out there to completely manage your social media campaign. Social media is about relationships. So do you want to hire somebody to manage your relationship with your patients? You don't want to do that. You want somebody in your office to manage that relationship because, do you want me answering questions for your patients online? I don't know your office like you do. I don't know your patients like you do. So you can hire somebody to kind of set things up and kind of help manage and so forth, but when it comes to actually communicating with your patients, you need to manage that from internally. You need to have somebody in the office that can communicate with your patients. We actually wrote a blog post on this. You can go to our blog, so you can go to mysocialpractice.com and click on Blog Archive and read this article that talks about 3 reasons why we don't and shouldn't take over your dental practice's social media voice, meaning we don't want to take over the relationship with your patients. All right, so last question, why should your office use social media? I'm going to answer this question through the last leg on the 3-legged chair, which is the right mindset, strategies, and ideas. So I'm just going to show you that it's easier just to show how people begin communicating with a dental office through social media to explain why you should use it. And as I show you this, I'm going to be showing you some of the mindset strategies and ideas that are used to begin creating this system. So the first example I want to show you, and I'm going to have several examples. So some of them are in Facebook, some of them are in Twitter, other social sites, but I'm going to show you examples of a lot of different ways that people begin communicating. Dynamic Smile Design is a client of ours, and I'm showing you this slide because it's a really good example of having a mix of information that you're posting. This is her Facebook page. So the question is often like, how often should we, what do we talk about? What should we post? And early on, before we started to kind of help direct this, a lot of offices would just post information about specials that they have in the office. And it can get really tiring to hear the same message over and over and over again from a business. So the model and the method by which you should go about this is you should post a lot of different information. I would say 80% of it should not be about offers. Maybe you shouldn't sell really hard in social media or in Facebook or wherever you're posting stuff. If you sell too hard, then people will just simply unlike your button and they won't follow you anymore. So a good model is maybe 80% or so should be just communicating, and then maybe 10 to 20% should be promoting offers and so forth. So to begin here, she has an office whitening special. So here's a promotional post. But then the next post is she's got a patient appreciation party. And I just kind of scrolled down the page here. And she's got a blog post, another blog post about why children should visit the dentist. And there's one up above that the title kind of got cut off on. Then there's a birthday wish. Then we've got a comment with a local interest. She had a patient that was actually on Access Hollywood, and so they posted about it. Then here's a promotion. She's doing a giveaway. She's giving away an iPad. So there's kind of a call to action there. And she's got another blog post. These blog posts, a lot of them were posted by us, by my social practice on behalf of her. And then she's got a fun wall post, iPhoto. She took this little picture of these cheerleaders and then wrote their names in of the staff on top of, for each cheer. They're kind of funny. But there's a good mix. There's a good mix of stuff there. So that's kind of the idea in terms of, what you should be posting. Heinz Little Smiles is a really, really solid. They've got really solid social media campaign, and they do a good job of it. If down here on the left, if you see this little flying tooth fairy with the pink dress, this is a post. This is what we call a Facebook Kickstart post, and it was an image that we sent to her to post, and it's just fun information about the tooth fairy and how much the tooth fairy used to give for, pay for a tooth back in 1900 and then 1998 and then nowadays. So I'm going to scroll down the page and look at all the comments that she's got. She's got, she basically asked how much do you pay for a tooth, and she got, 11 solid comments. And this has nothing to do with selling more service. This is just communicating, putting in fun information that your patients will react to. And you can see that they actually they'll start getting involved if you've got fun information. So that's just another idea about communicating and getting good interaction. The one thing that you need to look at here is a solid social media campaign has a lot of interaction. If you don't have any interaction, it's not working. So when you look at your Facebook page, look at it and say, okay, am I getting this type of interaction? If I'm not, I'm doing something wrong. So this is the type of interaction that you want to start having. And if you notice that through here, the office will respond to the comments that their patients have made and so forth. Okay, this is still Heinz Little Smile, but in Facebook you have a direct message model where people can post right on your front page where everybody can see it, but then they can also message you personally. So this is a personal message from one of their potential patients. I'm just going to kind of read through this. Another good example of how social media can be used to communicate and work with potential patients. Sarah says, I've called your office a few times today to schedule a consultation for my daughter, but I've been unable to speak with a live person. Your office came with excellent recommendation from my friend Lisa Rager. How do I speak with a live person to schedule an appointment? She puts her phone number in there. Finds a little smile, says, "Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry for that. I'm unsure of why you were not able to speak with someone. I will have someone give you a call shortly. Thanks for sending us a message. I'll look into this further. Tell Lisa hello, and she's fabulous. We look forward to seeing you soon." Sarah says, "Thank you. Your office called me first thing this morning. Looking forward to a consultation next week. Thanks." All right, so obviously Sarah was calling outside of office hours or maybe during lunch, or there could have been a problem with the phone line. Who knows? But this is, as a backup, she immediately went to their Facebook page and sent them a direct message. And this should be kind of like a clear message to dental offices and to you as a staff or whoever's listening on the call, listening to the webinar, that people use Facebook to communicate. So Sarah didn't need to be taught to go to her Facebook page. People just simply go to the Facebook page if there's a way to get information or to connect with a business. So great model for how Facebook is used by the consumers nowadays. Art Dentistry did some work on this patient, Addison, and this is a great idea or example of how you can generate more revenue. So this is our fabulous patient, Addison, had a smile makeover for his wedding in October. Check back for before pictures. He looks awesome. So they took this picture after he got some work done. And then later on, they posted the before picture. And I want to read through the comments below the before picture. Karen says, "Where's the after?" Meaning, where's the after picture? Art Dentistry says, "Should be loading as we speak." So they literally, they posted this, and Karen literally commented like right after they did it. Karen says, "Did not realize you did orthodontia." And then she says, "By the way, see you tomorrow at 4:30. So she's obviously a patient, but she didn't know they did any orthodontic type procedures. Art Dentistry says, "We don't do orthodontics. Dr. Martin did some bonding in this case. He does amazing work." And Karen says, "I need to send my 23-year-old son to you. I will ask questions tomorrow." So perfect example. They have a patient who's already got an appointment and doesn't know about all the services that they provide. So by posting information about patients, pictures, whatever it might be, you're educating your patient database, hopefully increasing case acceptance on other services. Then they posted the after, and see, look at the comments here. Nate says, "Awesome work, not surprised though." Art Dentistry says, "Thanks, Nate." Ashley says, "They look great, a new smile is life-changing." Art Dentistry says, "Thanks, Ashley. We're so glad you liked your smile. You look great." So basically here is a couple patients who are basically communicating and kind of giving some props, some kudos to the office for the type of work that they do. And so this is a great example of how you can get patients to begin talking about you. All right, this is Dr. Gemi. He's an orthodontist. He was down at an Invisalign Summit in Las Vegas, and he snapped this picture with a cell phone and posted it. So in all mobile phones, you have the ability to post directly to your Facebook page or to Twitter and some of the other social media sites. And it takes half a second to do something like this. And when he posted it, I wanted to show you the comments that he got. Gail says, "The great thing about this group is that they're constantly keeping up with new procedures and ideas to treat their patients. The office staff at Welsh Road location is incredible. Dealing with them made it easy to correct my children's issues, and their teeth look great. Keep up the good work." And Barbara says, "And they also make it easy and very comfortable for us grown-ups too. Getting braces as an adult has changed my life." So here are two fabulous recommendations. And the reason I show this is obviously, your patients probably love you guys, and they'll talk about you in ways that will promote you if they have a venue to do so. In order to spur this conversation, Dr. Gemi had to post the photo. If he didn't post the photo and talk about going to the summit, then nobody would have done this. So just getting involved and sharing information about what's going on in your practice and in your lives as a doctor and as a dental office will get your patients to get more involved. And once they post this, if somebody comes on the Facebook page, that's not a patient, they're going to read it. and they're going to see these great recommendations. It just validates you as an office and will encourage people to come in as a new patient. All right, here's Dr. Zaleh and Zaleh. This is their Facebook page, and I want to focus on this Enter to Win promotion down here in the bottom left. So I mentioned earlier when I showed you Hornbrook Center for Dentistry that there was a promotion on their blog. Well, promotions can be run across all the sites. And so you can run a promotion on your Facebook page. It can be the same promotion you run on your blog, or that you run in your email newsletter, or that you run in the office. And so the idea here is they want to give away an iPad. If you were to click on this link, this iPad image, or the link right above it, you would land on this page, which is the promotion tab on their blog. And the idea with this, the reason that you run a promotion is after many, many, many clients, hundreds of clients that we've worked with, we have found out that your patients will probably not get engaged with your office unless there's an incentive. Okay, so you have to have a carrot out there to encourage people to get involved. And it's not because they don't love you, it's because there is so much marketing noise in the world today that unless there's some kind of incentive to draw people in to begin engaging as kind of the first step, it's just really, really difficult to make it work. So this Enter to Win type of a promotion, whether it's an iPad or whatever else it could be, is a great way to do it. If you notice below the image, you'll see that the steps to get involved are, one, to like them on Facebook, and then enter their name, their email, their zip, and so forth. So to like them on Facebook, when somebody likes your practice, they very rarely will unlike it. And so this is just a kind of a way to get them involved. So what's happening here is they're liking the dentist and their Facebook account, but they're also giving them their name, their email, and their zip. And then the last two steps are to subscribe to the monthly newsletter and then agree to recommend the promotion to their Facebook wall for 2 additional entries. So there's a couple different ways that you're connecting. There's 3 different ways, primarily, that you are building on your social media campaign. One is you get them to like you on Facebook. Once they like you on Facebook, then they start seeing all of your posts. 2, you're gathering their information, and then you're hoping that they'll select subscribe to our monthly newsletter. And a lot of people will. So now they're going to receive the newsletter at the end of the month or whenever you send out your newsletter because they're opting in at this point. And then 3, step 6, is they're recommending this promotion to their Facebook wall, which means that they're actually posting it. They don't have to manually do it. It does it automatically. But if they select that, it posts that Enter to Win promotion to their Facebook page, which means all their friends see it. So the average, to give you an idea of how powerful that is, the average Facebook user has 135 friends or so, right around there. Might be 1 or 2 friends off, but let's say 135. So if you could get 100 of your patients to share their promotion, that means 13,500 people potentially see it. And these are friends of your current patients. They're not just ambiguous people that have no kind of connection. They're people who are a friend or a family member of who's working with you already. So once they do that and they share it, so if I were Zaleh and Zaleh's patient and I shared it, I've got a little over 500 friends on Facebook. You know, I might have 2 or 3 of them that click on the image and land on this page and Enter to Win as well. And what happens at that point is they like you on Facebook, you gather their name, their email, their zip. Hopefully they opt into your newsletter, and then hopefully they share it. So now you're marketing out to friends of patients. So that's the rippling kind of viral effect of how social media works when you have a system built in the correct model. So that's why you run promotions. And most offices that I talk to have some type of a promotion, an internal promotion that they're running already. You're basically just taking that internal promotion and you're integrating it into these social sites. So yeah, I mean, we've done hundreds of different kinds of promotions, so it really doesn't matter what you do as long as you're doing something. The other thing I wanted to show you about this is I'm going to scroll down the page, and I want you to notice all of the comments. So on this promotion, there's also a comment section, and look at all these comments. So I'm just scrolling lower down on the page. They had 25 responses. The first comment says, love, love, love Dr. Greg and Dr. Joan Zaleh. I've been going to them for years. They truly are compassionate, caring dentists, and their entire staff is wonderful to deal with. And then Zaleh and Zaleh respond, thanks, Valerie. We love hearing the positive feedback, and we enjoy having you as a patient. And it's just a litany of comments, of great comments. There's another page, and there's the end. So by having a promotion, you're interacting and you're getting a lot of comments from your patients. They want to be involved if you have a way to get them involved. All right, let's move on to another example. This is just another blog post example. Here's a post, and then below, so it's about oral piercings and your oral hair, and your oral health. And then down below, there's the comment section, and here's just a line of comments on that particular post, which I thought was another good example of how a good social media system begins to communicate with your patients. The first follower says, "It's interesting some of the times that you're publishing a blog on this topic. Thank you for caring." Blah, blah, blah. The second gentleman says, "Good article. I always wondered what a dentist would say to somebody with oral piercings." And then he says, "I hope in future posts you'll attack smoking and chewing tobacco." And then the doctor responds, and this doesn't necessarily mean it's the doctor even though it's his picture. It could have been one of the staff. It's most likely one of the staff, but it responds in the doctor's voice. "Kim, I am glad you found the article informative. We will definitely address the topic of smoking and chewing tobacco in the future." So he actually responds, and then the idea is to put together another blog post about chewing tobacco and smoking. The last lady down here says, "Thank you so much for your article on lip and tongue piercing. I have 2 grandchildren in their teens and worry so much when I see their friends with mouth and nose piercings. Nagging is not the same thing as hearing it from a dentist. I'll let my grandkids read this article." And then Dr. Vick says, "Great, Julie. We're glad you enjoyed the article. We would love for you to pass the information on." So anyway, you can see a great line of comments here. And this is the idea. This is the reason why you have a blog, is to engage with your patient database. This is a Facebook Kickstart post. So one of the parts of the service that we provide when we work with a client is we send them out every morning. We send them some kind of an image or a quiz or something fun that they can post to their Facebook page to kind of kickstart the conversation. And what we have found is we found this old hygienist magazine, and we pulled the pictures out, scanned them into Photoshop, and we put them in this Brady Bunch layout with numbers. And we sent them to our practices and said, "Here, do what you want with this." Well, Champaign Family Dentistry said, "We're looking to update our assistant hygienist uniforms. Vote for your favorite." And here are the comments. And, I mean, they just got a ton. Well, let me scroll down a little further. They got a ton of comments. But if you were to read through this, like, people thought they were serious. And so they're like Ruby, the second comment down, says, "Wow, I don't like any of them. Sorry, they look too formal. You guys are too welcoming and relaxed to pull those off. We don't want it to feel sterile. I like the casual but professional look you have now. How about scrub tops? They can be fun." So, I mean, down a little further, Champagne says, "We're just joking." But anyway, here's the idea. I mean, you've got a great communication. You've got a lot of responses and comments. This is the type of engagement you're looking for. And the other thing that what I circled here is they have at this point they had 736 likes. If you notice underneath the image up there at the top says 730 people reached. That's how many people saw the post. So they are reaching nearly as many people as they have that have liked the practice. So great engagement. I show that because in some social media campaigns, some people may have 20,000 likes, but if there's nobody seeing any of the posts and there's no engagement, what's the point, right? All right, here's another, this is Kravitz Orthodontics, and just another kind of line of communication about how a patient will engage. So Nina writes this. So I'm on the right-hand side of the top post. It says, I was on Facebook, saw that Dr. Neil Kravitz was on, so I poked him and told him that I had just broken my tooth on a milk dud. I thought it was funny, and he'd get a good laugh out of it. Like 10 minutes later, he called me to make sure that I wasn't in pain. OMG, I love that man. I'm sure he would have met me in his office if I was in pain. He's so cool. He did that once for Jillian, which is apparently a friend of hers. He came from an hour away just to fix a loose wire or something that was causing her a great deal of pain, or a good deal of pain. Seriously, if you don't have an orthodontist and you need one, he is the man. So great conversations here where people begin communicating and validating you as an office. And this type of comments, this does more towards generating new patients than you would imagine. here's Twitter. Madeline Zapantis is she just uses Twitter very effectively, and she uses it to communicate with patients, but also with people within the industry. So here are two posts that she made. The bottom one that's circled says, "Finishing up patient care, then off to Digital Dentistry Symposium in Atlantic City. High hopes for a great CERAC conference." And 4 days later, if you can notice the date, she says up top, "Oops, forgot to give thanks to Patterson Dental for a great CERAC conference this weekend in Atlantic City. Good job." So she's just reaching out and touching base with the people within the industry. A lot of people get new patients from Twitter. We usually recommend when you get started, if you've never done social media before, start with blogs and Facebook and build those up. Build up your list on your blogs, your subscriber list. Build up your likes on Facebook, and then move into Twitter. It's usually we're working with people who haven't had a ton of experience and haven't got a good model put together. And so Madeline does well on all of them, and she's kind of moved into Twitter now and uses that effectively. Here's a YouTube channel. Stephen Brown does a lot of educational videos. And YouTube is a great social media tool for archiving all of your video content, all of your media content. And why is that important? Well, a lot of the dental practices that we work with are engaged in the community, and they very rarely will ever shoot video, or they may have lots of testimonials and they don't shoot video. And video is probably the best medium for social media. It ranks higher than things in search. It ranks really, really well within Facebook, meaning that video is posted stronger than text messages in people's news feeds. People want to see video. It's like a picture tells 1,000 words, kind of an idea. So when we begin building a social media campaign, we strongly encourage offices to begin shooting video, whatever it could be, and then to begin having those videos in their YouTube channel. A YouTube channel is basically your own channel. It's your own. There's no other advertising on the channel. It's just your videos. And so when somebody goes to it, they're not going to see somebody else's videos in there. It's just yours. The reason we use YouTube rather than Vimeo or Veo or some of these other video sharing sites is because YouTube is the most prolific video tool out there. It's very, very flexible, meaning if you take the embed code of a YouTube video, you can put it pretty much anywhere. It's going to play. You're not going to run into coding problems. You can embed YouTube videos right into your email. So when you send an email to somebody, you can just put the video right in the email. So it's just a really, really easy system to use. Another reason that you want to start, creating videos is, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to view your videos. Stephen Brown's had over 12,000 people watch this video. So that's really, really high. I wouldn't expect that to happen very often, but he's got a lot of views on that. So people will use YouTube to begin educating themselves about an office or a business. All right, one other thing I want to talk about. This is an article that I read from a company called Tasty Placement. They're an SEO firm out of Texas. And what they did is they were curious about how social media sites will affect organic search engine results. So organic search engine results are basically Google search engine results. So when you go to Google and you do a search for something, what comes up on the first page are your search results. And obviously, there's so much like attention brought and just conversation around trying to get on the first page of Google with your website or with your business listing or whatever, because there's a lot that people use Google to find local businesses. And so the question that I often get here at My Social Practice is, well, if we build this social media system, how is this going to help our SEO, our search engine optimization? Meaning, are we going to rank higher in Google? And we've done some tests, but this is a great test. It's a third-party test, and they did a really good job at it. They took 6 websites, and they built them, and they put them. They were different. They were related to businesses in different cities. Now, cities were all relatively the same size. They weren't the same city. And then they had a seventh location that was a test, it was a control. They didn't do anything to this website. And then what they did is they began to promote those websites through their social media tools. So if I were to promote abcdental.com in my Google Plus account, so if I went into my Google Plus account and I shared a link to abcdental.com in my Google Plus account, and then my friends clicked on it and went through the page and then followed that company or that business in their Google Plus account, or the same thing with Twitter and Facebook. This is what these guys did with these websites, is they began promoting them through the social media tools, and this is what they found. After several months, I think it was after 10 months that they ran this test, the websites they promoted through Google Plus ranked 14.63 positions higher for in Google for certain keywords. So if they tested for dentists, just to give you an idea, it would, or for a dental office, they may have said, hey, these sites rank higher for the word dentist than they did several months ago because we promoted the website through Google Plus. The Plus One is part of the Google system. And I'm actually going to do a webinar. I'm developing a webinar right now about Google Plus and how it works because, frankly, it's very confusing. But the Plus One is another function of how the Google Plus system works. And it's a second way to promote content and websites. And they promoted those websites through Google through using the Plus One button. And the positions on that website went up 9.44 positions. Same thing with Facebook. It went up. Twitter, it went up. Twitter followers, it actually went down slightly. So apparently there's not a lot of value with Twitter, but Google Plus and Facebook strongly have a strong correlation to how well you rank. So the idea about this is this stuff changes. Search engine optimization changes so rapidly that it's hard to kind of stay on top of it. And that's why a lot of companies will hire a search engine optimization firm to do it for them. But generally, looking over the past few years, all the Google algorithms and Yahoo and Bing algorithms are leaning heavily towards integrating social media sites and the interconnectivity of a business's social media system into the algorithm to help the business rank. I'll just give you a really simple example. Google's job, and Google controls 80% of the search volume on the internet, which is just massive. But Google's job is to give the end user, the consumer, the most relevant result possible. If the consumers get what they want when they do a search on Google, if they find the businesses that they want, then they'll continue to use Google. And if the consumers are using Google, then advertisers will pay Google to advertise. So their first priority is not the business, it's the consumer, to make sure that the consumer gets the right information. So if you were in Google's shoes and you were trying to make a decision between dentist A, who has a website and no social media, and dentist B, who has a website and tons of social media, and they can see all this. Google can see your website if it's linked to a Facebook account, and then they can go in and they can see how many followers you've got, or they can see how many followers you got in Google Plus, and they can see how much information you're sharing. If they see Office A that has no interconnectivity with any social sites and Office B that's completely integrated into the community, they're going to give Office B a better ranking, period. It's just going to move that way because it's better for the consumer. If your office is integrated and using social media to connect with patients and to communicate, the algorithm that Google's going to use is going to move stronger. It's going to move more heavily towards integrating those social tools into the search rankings. So if you want to get ahead of your competition, if you want to have better search rankings, begin connecting in social media. It's going to help. It's a secondary issue. I mean, primarily you should use social media because it's just effective, and you're going to get more patients. You're going to build a better brand for yourself. You're going to connect better with your patients. You're going to get higher case acceptance. You're going to have lower attrition. But secondarily to that, you're going to rank higher in search algorithms. And so that's basically what this is. And this is validated through many, many, many different reports from all over the world. So it's just moving that way. Chris Brogan is one of the leading marketing minds out there, and he says marketing has changed. Today, marketing is about engaging with communities and delivering products and services with stories that spread. So what is your story, and how can you share it is the idea. And then here's Seth Godin. He's wrote The Purple Cow, Linchpin, We're All Weird, and several other books. He's a bestseller when it comes to marketing, probably one of the top 3 leading minds in marketing now. He says you can no longer market to the anonymous masses. They're not anonymous, and they're not masses. You can only market to people who are willing participants. And that is the difference between traditional marketing and social media marketing. You have to connect with your patients one-on-one. And that's basically what we've been talking about. So just kind of hand up. Let me show you what we do as a company. So I can, for those of you that are on the call that are interested in getting involved and would like some help and some direction, we have a phenomenal service that basically will do all of this and a whole lot more. So when we get started, there's 2 things. We do a basic build out. We do a setup, and then we have a monthly kind of maintenance that we do on a monthly basis. So in terms of the setup, we build a blog, kind of like Hornbrook's blog that I showed you a little earlier. We create a Facebook page, a Twitter account, YouTube, and then in this slide, the 2 accounts that you're missing are Google Plus and Pinterest, which we also can help you build out. Here are examples. Here's a blog. There's a Facebook page. In a Facebook page, the areas that you can actually fix, that you can build, are this main cover image. That's an editable section. The logo down the kind of the left, and then right below this main cover image are photos. You can see a button for photos, request an appointment, promotions, and blog. And those are all programmable, except for the photos button. That one's locked there. But the request an appointment, promotions, and blog, those can be whatever you want. You can put, you can put your Pinterest button in there, or whatever you'd like to do. And we build those out, and we build applications and promotions into that. We also, as part of the service, have these Kickstart ideas, like the little tooth fairy I showed you earlier, that we send out every day. We build a Twitter page, and it's designed so that it looks similar to all your other tools. A YouTube channel, same thing. We build it so that it looks similar to everything else. And then email. Let me talk about email for a second, because I never got a chance to really talk about how it integrates. Earlier on, when I talked about the blog is designed as a transaction point, as the centerpiece, the hub. When you put a blog post in a blog, it can be programmed to speak directly to your newsletter. So the way that we establish this is we write a blog post every week for our offices, and then we encourage the offices to write additional content. All that blog content gets loaded automatically into the newsletter and distributed at the end of the month. So what you're looking at here with her email newsletter, this is similar to what it would look like. So you've got a main cover image that we design, and then on the left, you've got the articles. If they click on that article when they open it up, they'll land on the blog post and they can read it. Over on the right, you've got your promotion, whatever you're giving away. And then if you're to see the bottom half of this newsletter, you'd see links to their website, to their other social sites, and so forth. So that's how the newsletter works. It's integrated into the system. Then you got Google Plus. Google Plus just recently created a new frame for the way that the page is set up. Now you have a large cover image right at the top, kind of like a banner, like you see on Facebook, where you can put a photo in and you can put a logo and so forth. So this is an older screenshot, but now you can do some design to it, which we would design and build out. So that is Google Plus, and then Pinterest. And Pinterest, there's actually nowhere where you can actually design it. It's really just an account you set up, and they control all the design elements. But we'll set it up, and we have a ton of training on how to use Pinterest. It's a great social media system. The demographic for Pinterest are women between 25 and 45. So a lot of them are stay-at-home mothers and decision makers, basically. So it's a great way to drive traffic. And actually, Pinterest, there's been a lot of articles on Pinterest that Pinterest drives more traffic to websites than any other social media site out there. So it's a great way to begin driving traffic to your website or to your blog or whatnot. So that's the setup. You build all those, you get all those social media sites set up, with the blog as the centerpiece. And then what do you do during the month? Well, there's a few things you do. I'll start on the left. Over here, you've got the newsletter. That goes out monthly, which I mentioned. And right below where it says monthly HTML newsletter, it says in-office print materials. So these print materials are designed to correspond to the promotion. So if you give away an iPad or a trip, or you have a referral program, or whatever type of promotion or whatever you guys want to do, we actually print, we create and print, design, and then we mail these print materials off to the office. And so the office doesn't have to do anything, just hand them out. But the messages are all the same. If it's an iPad that you're giving away, your patients are going to see the iPad promoted in the office with the print materials. They're going to see it in their newsletter. They're going to see it on the blog. They're going to see it in their Facebook account, Twitter account. I mean, it's everywhere. And it's really important that the office gets involved in helping to promote whatever's going on. The conversion point, or one of the transaction points, it's the strongest transaction point, is right in the office. I mean, you've got patients coming in every single day. If you saw, say, 10 patients a day, that's 300, somewhere around 250 patients a month, then 80% of those people use Facebook. They're right about that. 75 to 85% of them use Facebook. And what a lot of the offices do that we work with is they get an iPad in the office, and the patients come in and say, hey, enter to win this iPad. Maybe they're giving away that particular iPad, or enter to win whatever. And they give them the iPad, and they actually go through the process of entering to win that right there in the office, kind of like what I showed you earlier with Zalay and Zalay, where they like the Facebook, they plug in their name, their email, their zip code, they they subscribe to the newsletter, they share it, so on and so forth. And if you can get 80% of your patients to enter to win and start sharing promotions, it's going to go all over the place. So one of the most important parts and the functions of how we run a social media campaign is that the staff get behind it. And if the staff's behind it with our training and our direction, these work extremely well. The promotions work extremely well, and it really jumpstarts the whole social media campaign, getting everybody involved. Kind of to the right, there's promotions and offers. I talked about that. Engaging content, that's talking about the blog posts. We have a really, really simple system that helps dental offices create their own blog posts. We write blog posts anyway every week for the offices, but the content that we're writing about is really general dental type content. It's about dental implants or teeth whitening or the benefits of this or that in terms of your oral health. But what patients really like to see is what's going on in the office. What are you guys doing in the office? Have you hired somebody new? Is one of your hygienists having a child, or are they pregnant, or is the doctor going to go do some additional CE credits? Is there an office party at some point? That type of content, the more personal type of information, is what we encourage our staff, our offices, to send to us to post as blog posts. And there's a model. I won't go into too detail right now because I've already taken a lot of time, but basically we created a system where people can write blog posts in like 3-5 minutes. It's really simple. So it doesn't take a lot of time, and we manage the whole process. Over on the far right, you've got member-only training, and this is really my social practice's strong point, is we have phenomenal support. You call in, we can help you with anything. And you can call in. That's just the thing. You can call in anytime, and we'll pick up the phone. We'll be talking to you and guide you through it. We have great training, video training. We have tons of Twitter training, tons of YouTube training. A lot of it's video or blog setup. But it's really, really easy to understand. As easy as this webinar has been to understand, that's the type of training that we give in terms of social media. On top of this, we have lots of other things that you can do. The platform that we're building here is functional with all sorts of different kinds of promotions and programs. Like it's, Halloween is coming up, and we do a sweet swap. We have a sweet swap program where kids can bring in their candy after Halloween and trade it for a treat, for like a toothbrush or something like that. And we have a whole campaign built out for that, where you've got posters and we've got imagery for the campaign, to announce it and talk about what they do. I mean, it's already built. And so, I mean, that's something that a lot of dental offices do to start really getting involved with the community and the kids in the community. And I mean, it's already there. I mean, we could plug it into the system and really quick. We have training on Facebook check-in deals and QR codes and how to use all that. And so, I mean, we've got lots of stuff that you can basically use to engage with your community. So anyway, enough about us. We are awesome. And for those of you that have joined the webinar, I'm going to run a special. We typically charge $1,500 or $14.95 on the setup to build everything, and then we charge $2.99 a month. And what I'm going to do for everyone on the webinar is I'm going to waive the setup fee. And so the first let's say the first 3 people that email info@mysocialpractice.com and just in the subject line put, webinar special or something like that, I will waive the setup fee for them. For everybody else, I'll cut it in half. So I'm giving some incentive to the people out there who are ready to get started. So if you are one of the first 3, I will waive the setup fee. And if you are 4 and beyond, I'll cut it in half. So the setup fee would be basically $750. So beyond that, after the setup fee, you pay $2.99 a month. There's no contract. You can just pay it for as long as you want to work with us. And we're confident that you'll stick with us. The clients that we work with stick with us for a long time because the value of the product is so strong. So that's the special, and please email us if you're interested. And now I'm going to end the recording, and we're going to take some questions.